Hi there, I'm IELTS Master Lee, and welcome to this IELTS Master Academic Strategies video. Today we're talking about Writing Task 1 Basics, what to write and how to structure it. This video lesson is going to give you a basic overview of Task 1, what to write about, and how to structure, how to organize your writing. Let's get started. In this lesson, you'll learn what you need to write about for Task 1, how to structure your report, and I'll give you an example, and important do's and don'ts for Task 1. Do's and don'ts are things that you should do and things that you shouldn't do. All right, so we'll have some important do's and don'ts at the end of this video. First, let's review. I expect you already know a little bit about writing Task 1 already. Well, we have some kind of data, some kind of information graphic that we're shown. Sometimes it's a graph, like a line graph, sometimes a pie chart, a table, a map, a process diagram, or sometimes a mix of several of these things. But the instructions are usually the same. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. Now, how many minutes do we need for writing Task 1? How many minutes do they recommend? Do you know the answer? It's 20. 20 minutes for writing Task 1. And also, important to note that on the band descriptors, these are the papers that the examiner uses to score your writing. On the band descriptors, in one section, it asks for an overview. And so we want to make sure that when we do Task 1 writing, we give a good overview and it's very clear. All right, so this is what we need for writing Task 1. Summarizing by selecting and reporting the main features and comparisons, and finally an overview. Let's look at the paragraph structure for writing Task 1. I recommend using 4 paragraphs because it's easy to organize, easy to structure your ideas or your analysis. All right. In the beginning, you'll have an introduction. The introduction can be one sentence. And in the introduction, you're paraphrasing the topic. What is the information graphic about? Okay, if it's a chart, you can say this chart or the chart compares or describes or shows or something like that, displays. In any case, you're paraphrasing the topic. You're saying the topic in your own words. And next is the overview. The second paragraph is an overview. What are the main points? Okay, you're summarizing in general, overall, not in detail, but overall. What are the main points? And this should be about 2 sentences. Number 3, paragraph 3 is body paragraph 1. What are the specific points? So you're reporting on specifics. And finally, body paragraph 2 is what are the other specific points? So you're reporting on the other specifics. Now, some people might ask, what should I write for body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2? In fact, what should I write for the overview? How do I know the main points? How do I know the specific points? How do I know my topics for these paragraphs? Well, that's a little bit outside of this video lesson, so I recommend you take a look at my Task 1 analysis video lesson. I've included a link down in the description of this video. So if you're curious, what should I write in these paragraphs? How do I know the main points and the specific points? Take a look at the Task 1 analysis video, and then you can come back to this video when you're finished, or just continue on. Next, we need to mention that the overview can either go after the introduction or you can put it at the end of your writing. It doesn't need to be second, it can also be fourth at the end. You can choose what you want to do. However, I recommend that you include the overview second because it's very important for your score and you want to have a good overview. If you don't have very much time, then you might rush the overview, and that would be a problem for your score. All right? So just to give you another visual demonstration of the structure, we have the introduction first, then the overview, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2. Or introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, overview, the overview last. However, like I mentioned, I prefer having the overview right after the introduction because it means I'll probably have a better overview. I can take more time to do it. All right? Next, let's take a look at a sample report for task 1. This is a pretty good report. Not perfect, but pretty good. In the introduction, the bar chart compares the enrollment of men and women in full-time and part-time British further education programs in the 1970, 1980, and 1990 school years. Okay, so the introduction is telling us, what is this report about? What is this writing about? In this case, it's a bar chart, and we're comparing enrollment in education programs. Next, the overview. We start this with overall. Overall, part-time education was several times more popular than full-time education throughout the entire period. In addition, while men had larger enrollment numbers in both part-time and full-time programs than women, by the end of the period, women had surpassed men in part-time study and matched them in full-time. Okay, so this is an overall. I'm giving you the bird's eye picture, the picture from 10,000 feet up. What is this graph showing? All right, next, body paragraph 1. In regards to part-time education, male enrollment started in the 1970 school year at 1 million before dipping by about 150,000 in the 1980 school year and then making a slight recovery to around 900,000 students in 1990/1991. In contrast, females started lower at about 775,000 and rose steadily, finally surpassing males in the 1990 school year for a total of approximately 1,100,000. All right, so this is about part-time education. The first part of this paragraph, the first red highlighted area, makes it very clear what this paragraph is about. And body paragraph 2. The trend for full-time education was only slightly different. Female numbers again started lower in the 1970 school year at under 100,000 students, but had already surpassed male totals by 1980. While male enrollments grew faster in the subsequent period, the final totals for both males and females in full-time education was more or less identical at around 220,000 students in the 1990-91 school year. And so you can see the second body paragraph is about full-time education. Okay? So there's a sample report for you. Next, let's take a look at some of the important do's and don'ts, good things to do and bad things to do for your task 1 writing. First, do include an overview with the overall features. If we look at this example again, you can see the overview highlighted in the yellow. All right, so make sure you have an overview. It's very, very important, and not having an overview is a very, very, very common mistake. So don't make that mistake. Make sure you have an overview. Next, don't include too much detail in the overview. The overview needs to be an overview. You don't want a lot of numbers in the overview. You just need general information, the most important things in the data. You can see this bad example in the red here. Overall part-time education had 1,100,000 female students, yada, yada, yada. Okay, we already see numbers in this overview. There's too much detail. So don't include too much detail in your overview. All right, next one. Do make lots of comparisons. Make lots of comparisons. This is part of the instructions for writing task 1. Make sure you make a lot of comparisons. Take a look at the example from before. In the yellow highlighted areas, you can see different sentences that have comparisons. We have than, we have women had surpassed men, in contrast, surpassing males, slightly different, again, faster, both. These are all adding comparisons into this writing. Okay, so include lots of comparisons in your task 1 writing. Don't write about every single detail one by one. Okay, do not do this or you will get a 5 for the task achievement part of your writing task 1. Okay, don't write every single detail. You need to choose the important details. Highlight the main details. Don't do every single one. For example, in the red highlight here, we have male enrollment started in 1970 at 1 million before dipping by about 150,000 in 1980 and then making a slight recovery to around 900,000 students in 1990, 1991. Females had about, okay, I'm not going to finish reading because I already know what it's going to say. It has all of the details from the graph. This isn't what you need to do. You need to highlight the main details, highlight the important details, and include these, okay? Finally, don't. We have one more don't. Don't include your opinion. This is a report. It's not about your opinion. You can save your opinion for writing task 2. For writing task 1, I just want you to tell me what is on the page. What does the data say? All right, so for example, what you shouldn't do, don't do this, is in your overview, overall part-time education was several more times popular than full-time education throughout the entire period. This is likely because part-time education is more flexible and cost-friendly than full-time education. I don't care. The examiners don't care why this is true or why this happened. They just want to know what happened. What is the graph showing? Not why. Don't give your opinion. Don't include why. Only tell the examiner what is on the paper. All right? Cool. So just to review quickly, for do's, include an overview with the overall features and make lots of comparisons. For do not, include too much detail in the overview and don't write about every single detail one by one. And finally, don't include your opinion. Save that for task 2. Thanks so much for watching this video today. If you're interested in more IELTS lessons, if you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us at youtube.com/IELTSmaster or IELTSmaster.com. And finally, let me know, what do you want to see next? Please tell me in the comments. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Have a fantastic day.